Raceway. We have the Thunder Sport sedans coming out onto the racetrack now, warming up their tyres. Let's take a look at the lineup. John Briggs on pole with a 48.78 in a not-so-ordinary Honda. Brian Smith on the outside of the front row in the Alpha, then Mick Monterosso in the Escort. Keith Carling starts out of 4 and Des Wall from position number 5.
Out of position 6, Kerry Bailey in the Toyota Supra. Barry Jamieson out of 7. David Athart in the Commodore out of 8. Graham Smith in the Fiat 131 out of 9. And rounding out the 10, Brian Thompson in the Mercedes 450.
From 11, it's Lyndon Bain. John Gerwall starts in the Cortina out of 12. 13 is Kevin Cluck. Richard Shaw out of 14 and Bill Harris out of position 15.
16, Michael Caruso in the Falcon XE. Peter O'Brien out of 17. Out of 18, Trevor Simmons in the Tirana. Out of 19, Mark Smith in the Gemini. And out of 20, Mark Adderton in the Corolla.
Position 21 is Brian Walden in the Commodore. Darren Stewart starts out at 22. Robin Doherty out of 23. And rounding out the 24 car field is Ian Luff in a Commodore. About 10 seconds away from the start now of the sports sedans, now called Thunder Sports. And John Briggs, the pole setter, has been dusted off in the run to the top corner. It looks like Brian Smith was out very quickly indeed. And they come up to the top of Bitchapay for the first time and drop into the right-hander at Dunlop Loop.
Look at the way they squirm under power coming off the line. About 650 horsepower from these fuel-injected Chevy engines. Big wings, big spoilers, pretty wild-looking machines. And it looks like off the start there's a gap there, probably 2-3 car lengths to the leader. John Briggs, the man off pole, he's been left behind. Keith Carling follows him through the first time around.
Nissan ZX looks good, but didn't quite get the start he would have liked. A long-time campaigner, Keith Carling.
They go down towards the lake corner for the first time. Smith able to outdistance them to the right-hander. And the pole setter still with a lot of work to do. John Briggs, but gets it very much sideways as they exit out of the late turn and comes in to reel off the opening lap. They've got 9 to go.
Briggs very fast in qualifying with a 48.78, which gives you some idea of how quick the Group A touring cars are going at the moment. That's only just a second faster than Mark Scope's qualifying time. So plenty of power, plenty of grunt. Look at this yellow car, the Nissan 300ZX, twin turbocharged Nissan V6 with boost adjustable from the dashboard. Keith apparently can get anywhere in the region of 750 horsepower out of this thing. Look at Briggs sliding the car under power. He had trouble getting off the line. He looks like he's having a few handling woes as well.
I hope he's in a straight line if he's got 700 horsepower under his foot, because the rear wheels will break loose instantly. The Honda appears to be having handling problems. He's not very comfortable every time he goes a gear. You see the back of the car breaking wide just there.
Yeah, look at it.
In the cement. He's actually holding Carling up at the moment.
Looks like he's really struggling to hold on. As we take our track cam, as the cars go right over the camera, Brian Smith opening up the lead more and more. But John Briggs, even though he's fighting this car every inch of the way, he's not letting him get away. And Keith Carling's going to keep him very honest in third position. Carling's all over him under brakes.
Well, Carling really needs to knock him off in the next lap or so to have a fair shot at Brian Smith. At the moment, though, every time he hones in on John Briggs, the car gets a little sideways and he's got to back it out because there's no point follow him in there if he's sideways.
Such a terrible circuit to concentrate if you've got a nervous car. The energy, the nerves that it's taking for Briggs to control this car.
Beautifully built car, that prelude. Hang on, Keith Carling's in trouble. Hand out the window. Or is he maybe acknowledging a flag marshal? We shall see.
I don't think so.
He is backing off.
No.
Yeah, he's bound for the pits. That's bad luck for Keith Carling, third fastest qualifier. At the moment, the man who sat on the outside of the front row, Brian Smith from Western Australia in the Alfa Romeo GTV, still leads, and here comes Smith up Bitchapave Hill again. He hasn't been under any real pressure. Dives down to the right-hander now.
This is Kerry Bailey from Tasmania in the Supra. He picks up third position. Let's look at behind him. There's Mick Monterosso and the Escort. Barry Jamieson in that Falcon, wild-looking Falcon sports sedan. So they push their way through. Carling's dropped out of the battle, which is a shame. So now there's a big gap between first, second, then back to third and fourth. This is the battle here.
Well, Brian Smith got such a good start in the Alpha that he really did make the rest of the field look a little bit second-hand.
There's inside Keith Carling's wild twin-turbo V6. 6 laps to go. Carling will be disappointed about this. This is the first round of the Australian Thunder Sports Series.
And an interesting series because it brings together all types of cars. We've had them loosely called sports sedans in the past, but there's GT cars, just about anything you can run, providing it's got plenty of horsepower.
Well, it finally bit him.
Yeah.
There he goes, John Briggs. Lost it coming over the top of the hill.
That had to be on the cards. You could see he was fighting that thing every inch of the way. He's been pushed back into the pack now.
If he's got a nervous car, he's got some nervous drivers behind him now.
Exactly.
Now he's going to try and pick it up.
So Des Wall, the Toyota Supra, sneaks past him there. He's got a real battle on his hands now.
just can't have an oversteering car around Amaroo. It just absolutely demands.
Oh, look, he's getting cleaned up on the inside too by Attard.
Well, they got a little bit of work to do before the next round. Of course, Brian Thompson, that we look forward to a good showing from Brian. His car it was parked just before the start. In the meantime, Brian Smith is running away from this mob with 5 laps to go.
So it's a tight little place for cars like this. 650 horsepower, fairly explosive acceleration. Not the easiest cars to drive. They've got quite short wheelbases. Some of them are very, very difficult under power, as you can see with John Briggs' car. Mick Monteroso's Escort's a car that's been developed over a number of years. You can see it's at its full level of development now. Big wings on it, big flared guards, plenty of grunt.
Well, a couple of the front runners dropping by the wayside. Barry Jamison's been able to pick up the pieces in the 45 Falcon EV. Make a charge towards second place, but no one is going to lay a glove on Brian Smith of Western Australia, who is really clearing out from the rest of the field.
Des Wall's trying to put plenty of pressure on Monteroso as they come down this almost stop corner. Attard gets in for his piece of the action, almost taps the back of Wall's car, and John Briggs has found his feet again. He's going to try and push his way past his pack, but he's got a big job ahead of him. Look at him, he gets sideways under power coming onto the main straight.
He's a brave boy out there today. That must really feel nervy.
Certainly twitchy, the machine. In a straight line, when he finally gets it straight, it's a very, very fast car. But unfortunately, there are a lot of corners at Amaroo Park, and it's a very twisty little place.
Looking very, very nervous. It is, in fact, like a Formula 1 open wheel under that skin. Car built by Greg Crick, who actually won the Australian Sports Sedan Championship with that car.
Here is our race leader, Brian Smith of Western Australia, putting together a fine drive in this 10-lapper today at Amaroo Park. Bolted off the line. He had John Briggs with him, but he's dusted the opposition. Here's the second group that are following him. Jamison back there in the second spot as they head up the hill.
Monteroso coming under increasing pressure from Attard. Des Wall and the ex-Brian Thompson Supra will follow them across the top two. Field getting slightly spaced out now.
It's a very wide approach to the turn. He got a just little taily there.
A couple of stabs at it.
Brian Smith, over a similar car, very similar outwardly anyway, that Tony Edmondson used to run.
He's coming down amongst a wall of cars here. Jamison.
1 lap to go. As Brian Smith comes across the start-finish line, I believe. And there's the gap. Terry Bailey.
Well, you never win by accident. Good preparation, and certainly Brian Smith's Little Alpha is superbly prepared, and he only needs one more lap.
Bailey still running in second spot. Barry Jamison is in third place. So, and it's still on for second, and they've got a stack of cars in front of them. They're on their final lap. Don't worry about the race leader, Brian Smith. He is just zooming through here.
There's plenty of traffic here. Jamison may see an opportunity as Bailey gets caught in this traffic. Look at them all over the place. Bodywork flying everywhere as well. Bounces off the front of Jamison's car. If Bailey's quick through the traffic, he should have him covered. But anything could happen as they come down to the stop corner for the final time.
Our race leader, Brian Smith, already coming into the final section of the racetrack at the moment as these guys fight out for the minors. Here's our race leader, Brian Smith of WA, coming up to take the checkered flag and acknowledges it. Good win to him off the start-finishing line, and here it is, the battle for the minors. Kerry Bailey getting up on the inside with Barry Jamison right behind him. That's how they finished the top three. That was exciting stuff in the final lap, though, for these two guys, not so much for our race winner, Brian Smith. Once he got off the line and was able to outdistance himself from John Briggs, it was all over Red Rover. Well, a fine win. Let's confirm them for you on our Shell race score. Brian Smith, the winner. Kerry Bailey lasted long enough to pick up second. Barry Jamison, a fighting third. David Attard was fourth, and Mick Monteroso in fifth place. Don't go away. We'll be back at Amaroo just a sec.
Tonight.